Yo, what if I told you there was a rule that bans certain hand gestures on the court, or that there's a rule that dictates how many timeouts a team can call? These are the bizarre NBA rules you didn't know existed, and the first rule caused bad blood between two legends. See, back when Magic came back to the court after discovering he had HIV, there was not much knowledge about the disease, and some players like Karl Malone were scared they might get infected.
It can be Joe Smo, but the fact of the matter is, if you got the AIDS virus, it'll be hard for me to play as hard as I'm capable of playing.
So the NBA had to act quickly, and they were forced to create the no blood rule, which means when there is any blood, the play must be stopped. Man, I feel bad for Magic, but he's still a legend on and off the court. But I can't say the same for Malone. And this wasn't the first time the NBA changed the rules for a player, because this one broke all the rules. When it came to negotiating Michael Jordan's contract, things were a little different. Traditionally, NBA players were not allowed to engage in any other sports activities outside of their games, even if it was basketball. But when you're the GOAT, you create your own rules. MJ had a clause in his contract that allowed him to play basketball whenever he wanted to, whether it be exhibition games, scrimmages, or just a pickup game in the park. And he was the only player that general manager Jerry Krause ever gave this clause. Man, the rules are different at the top. Speaking of bending the rules, did you know there's a secret loophole that allows a six-man on the court? It's true, back in '09, the Trailblazers managed to sneak in an extra player against the Celtics. But the only catch was, it would only be legal if the ref didn't catch you, or else you'd be hit with an unsportsmanlike conduct technical foul. And that's not all, because it used to be even crazier. If a team scored with an extra player on the court, even if the ref called the foul, the score would still count. But eventually, the NBA changed the rule, so the team awarded with the penalty could choose to cancel the event. All because of what happened in Portland the season before. Can you imagine the hate from the other team? And it's not just players. The NBA wanted to put the fans in check too. No, really, because remember when King James took his crown to South Beach in 2010? Man, his first game back in Cleveland was lit.
Probably didn't really know what he was stirring up by making that move. James with a beautiful move. Wow.
But not everyone was happy. So before the game, the NBA execs were on the hunt for anti-LeBron merchandise, like hats, tees, and signs. They found out there were a bunch of t-shirts floating around in Cleveland with some serious hate directed at LeBron. So the NBA had to step in and warn fans not to wear those clothes to the game. They even put on extra security at the entrances to make sure nobody had any of that hateful gear. But Bron got the last laugh because the Miami Heat destroyed the Cavaliers 118-90, with LeBron dropping 38 points. My man! But this next rule, man, it's one of the craziest, because it says that if you want to keep enjoying this content, you gotta hit that subscribe button, man. What are you waiting for? Anyways, we can't talk about legends of the game and not mention the greatest to ever do it, Kobe Bryant, because he gets credit for the NBA banning the hand-checking rule. Way back in '04, the Pistons didn't have any star players, but they had some serious defense. Man, they were all over him, but no foul was called because Kobe had the advantage on the defender. But that little bump slowed Kobe down just enough that it gave Ben Wallace a split second more to defend the basket. But the NBA didn't like this, so after the finals, they had a discussion about player and team advantage, and this led to the NBA eliminating all forms of hand checking before the 2005 season. But the rule backfired because it was intended to give offensive players more freedom, but it ended up giving offensive players an unfair advantage. Because now it's virtually impossible to keep perimeter players out of the paint. And we all know what happened shortly afterwards.
28 for 46 from the field. This would be 18 for 20 from the line and an 81-point game. 55 in the...
Scoring absolutely blew up, which helped Kobe drop 81 points in a single game. Damn, R.I.P. the legend. And it's not just gameplay either. The NBA cracked down on the ballless fits. Man, they banned black masks, Supreme sleeves, even do-rags. But there's one accessory that's a big no-no. Because in 2009, the NBA had to step in and ban shoes from a company called Propulsion Labs. See, these kicks were fitted with some new technology that turned sneakers into springs. It wasn't quite flubber level jumping, but it did add some extra bounce to players' jumps and made their verticals higher. But that would have made it unfair for everyone else. So the league banned them. But all publicity is good publicity, right? Because sales for the shoes actually went up. Damn, that's some good marketing. And the rules got even more ridiculous because this one cost players thousands of dollars and it's no throat slash rule. But it's not what you think. See, in the early 2000s, after players were repeatedly making a throat slashing gesture after scoring, one player in particular, John Smith, made the gesture after every basket, and it became a signature move for him. The crowd loved it, but the opposing teams didn't. They saw it as a sign of disrespect. The league received numerous complaints, and it finally decided to take action. The rule was put in place to prohibit the gesture, and any player caught doing it would face a fine. John Smith had to change his celebration, but he found another way to celebrate that didn't include a banned gesture. However, the gesture still haunts players today when a game gets heated. Some of the greatest players have been caught and fined up to $25,000. Man, that is chump change for these guys. But did you know that in the NBA there's a rule that limits the number of timeouts a team can call in the final 2 minutes of a game? See, the Dallas Mavericks were constantly stopping the game and disrupting the flow of the game by calling too many timeouts. This cost them multiple games and the league had to intervene. Now teams are limited to 2 timeouts in the final 2 minutes of the game. And the Mavericks had to change their strategy, but they learned to make the most of the timeouts they had, because now they had to rely on their talent and skill to secure the win, and it made every game a nail-biting finish as the Mavericks were always fighting for that one final timeout they could turn the tide of the game. But man, no matter how many rules the NBA try to create, there will always be players who try to break it on and off the court. Did you know that Eddie Johnson was arrested over 100 times? Or that Darrell Allen spent 9 years in prison for a pepperoni pizza? Man, you gotta click this to find out more. Oh, and if you like this video, go ahead and like the video. I'll see you on the other side. Peace!